Hello from the central part of the Czech Republic. This is my first Harley-Davidson in my review. It's called Sport Glide and it's model 2018. So let's go. So first of all, I need to be honest. I'm not the expert on Harley-Davidsons, and this is my first Harley-Davidson in the review. So my only one experience was when I went to the US and I rented two Harleys like 2 years ago, and we went with my parents from San Francisco to Las Vegas. It was amazing, but it was really unforgettable. It was really one of the best moments of my life. But that time it was a previous generation of Heritage Softail, so this is the only one I can compare it with. When we look at this model, this is the model from the Softail range, and the Softail range was highly improved for 2017. So it gets a new Milwaukee 8 engine, of course, and there are changes on the frame, suspension. So now you can adjust the preload on the rear here, which is really good and accessible. And also there is a new front fork in this model. It's inverted, so this is really good. There are updated brakes and lots of design things, so that's great. And the range of Softails was announced last year, and it had only 8 models, and this one came on the market in late last year. It was, I think, November or December. So this is the model just for the 2018. I'm very proud to have it here for the review. If you look at the Sport Glide, like probably the biggest competitive advantage of this model is that this luggage system, which is integrated, and you can very easily open it and use it and then dismount in few seconds. So I really found it valuable, for my camera and all this stuff. I really like it. The same with this batwing kind of windshield, which you can as well very easily unmount by this one. That's great, and also you can upgrade it from the official accessories to higher windshield. So that's nice. From the design point of view, this is the color is called Twisted Cherry. I really like it. Together with the wheels, from the design point of view are amazing, definitely eye-catching. The LED light in the front, standard for the Harleys right now, very good. I'm very happy there is still analog speedo. So that's great. From the design point of view, I really like it. When we look at the engine, this is 107 Milwaukee 8 engine, so it means 1750 cc. It's the biggest engine in my review so far. It's really good. It's very highly upgraded. So this is 8-valve engine with dual sparks, 2 sparks on the cylinder. That's nice. And also it has 2 counterbalancers, so it means that suddenly the engine doesn't vibrate that much, and probably this is the most important thing to show you. When I start the engine, it's very strong, but you don't feel the vibration. So this is I feel like this is a modern engine. This is still king of torque, 145 Newton meters and 3,250 RPM, and that's something. And it's not just a theoretical thing or marketing thing like, yeah, this has a lot of torque, but this really accelerates very quickly. And the power, as you probably know, the Harleys usually don't present the power, but I found some numbers and dyno charts on the internet, and in some of them I found 80 horsepower on the rear wheel in about 5,100 RPM, I think, and that's getting serious, So we will see it when I ride it, but I think this is, again, like, it doesn't vibrate much, but it goes very fast, so that's really good. From the wheels point of view, there is 18-inch in the front and 16 in the rear. The wheels are called Mantis, as I told you, and I really like the design. I appreciate it. That's great. The shocks, from suspension point of view, we have inverted fork in the front, and it's great because, again, it's less unsprung mass and it's easier to operate, which is great. And we can adjust the preload on the rear monoshock just here by this wheel, and that's probably one of, again, the biggest improvement of user experience of this bike, because that's great when you change a setting and have a luggage or someone with you, you can set it up, and that's great. Brakes, there is I think 300 millimeters 4-piston axially mounted caliper, and in the rear one we have a little slightly smaller single disc brake 2-piston connected with the ABS, which works great, and you cannot turn it off. I found it enough, the braking power, and easier to operate, of course. It's a cruiser, you know, so as far as you go, 100 kilometers per hour, 120, 110, no problems even with a pillion and, you know, all sorts of things in the luggage system. But once you want to go 160 or more, then maybe two disc would be more safer version. So when I look at it as a rider, I'm very happy that there is still analog speedo. That's really good, despite the fact that, you know, Harleys wants to attract the younger people, and I'm very happy that they still, despite the fact, hold this analog version, which really helps, you know, to create the overall recipe for the motorcycle, which helps you maybe with your stress, you know. Just it's very anti-stressful motorcycle, which really, that's just really good. Like, I really like it. Now. But there are some, you know, modern technologies such as cruise control, which is really handy. I really like it. We have here the alarm together with the, you know, keyless ignition system, which is something like, why not? But you know, I find it kind of, I like keys, and especially if you use it for locking, you know, your steering, you still need to use it. And but the alarm, it's really handy again. So that's a nice one. And at the same time, there are not things which I think they shouldn't be on this motorcycle, which is the traction control and fuel maps. Definitely, you don't need to think about anything. You just turn up the engine, turn on the engine, and go. No fuel maps. Why? You know, this is really good. So let's go riding. So I'm now sitting on the Harley-Davidson Sport Glide, and first of all, I would like to start with comfort. I think that for my 193 centimeters and 115 already kilos, it's kind of okay. It's actually really okay. It's really comfortable. I can really ride it probably all day. The seat is great. The position of the legs is extraordinarily great. So I feel nice, and I'm just imagining, you know, to travel around Europe on this bike with the luggage system. No complaints there. For the pillion, however, it's a different story. And we went with a girlfriend, and she had a bag on her back yesterday, and it wasn't pleasant. It wasn't very nice. So from this point of view, you know, if you look at the size and shape of the seat, it's not something which allows you some like serious traveling, and probably you can upgrade it by, you know, buying some accessories. But this is the thing. From the engine point of view and kind of, you know, using the bike, I found out that the leaning angles are quite nice, like about 28 or 29 centimeters, degrees, and it doesn't look super special on the paper, but in reality it's quite a lot, and you can enjoy, you know, like some nice corners on this bike. It's not such a, you know, like rock and roll like on a Moto Guzzi Audace, which I tested last week, but still, for the category of Harleys, it's still good and above the standard. So I'm enjoying the corners. It's not a sports bike, it's not Panigale, but it's good. Probably are mostly interested in the engine. So this is my first Milwaukee 8, and not only has massive torque like we are used to say on the, you know, about the older generations of Harleys, but suddenly you have another argument, and it also has a serious power. I think this 80 horsepower on the rear wheel allows you really, like, you know, like the acceleration you would basically expect from the Harleys. And my kind of experience which I had with the twin cam Heritage Softail, it was like kind of, I heard a lot about the Harleys and it has massive amount of torque and etc, etc. But then when I was riding it, it wasn't that, you know, enormous. It wasn't just, I was thinking that if I'm on my XSR 900 or any other modern bike, I'm faster in any regime, you know, or in any kind of type of corners and speed and acceleration. But here, I don't have such a feeling. Like this is really, I feel like on a modern bike, from the suspension point of view, from the engine point of view. There is kind of a lack of vibrations from my point of view, like character of the engine, and Moto Guzzi for me was the Mr. Engine. You should see the review. So this is interesting because this is improved engine, new version. But from the character and from the vibration point of view, I like the more the previous ones. But from the engine point, from the power, this is really good. And in any gear, it just depends on you. If you like to accelerate on the 6th gear, here it is, you know. Or if you want to enjoy the 4th gear, this is great. And I want to say that there is something very special on the acceleration of heavy bikes. When you have a heavy bike like 300 kilos plus, and it has some serious power, and you pull out the throttle, it's very special experience. I really, you have to experience it. It's really something really which you have to see in your life. The other side of the engine is of course the calm side of thing, and it's really unstressful. It's really this is like a balsam or visiting the spa, and I really like it because I'm usually very nervous and very hectic, and I want to shoot this review, and the weather is good, so quickly go there, and suddenly on the Harleys everything disappears, including the traffic jams and problems with cars and everywhere. Suddenly, you know, the Czech Republic is kind of overpopulated in terms of car, and so, but no problem here. I just put the cruise control, you know, 50 kilometers per hour, 4th gear, or if I am outside of the village, I go 80 or 75 on 5th or 6th gear, and just who cares? And I am 30 years old, and I have no problems with it. You know, I like speed, but when I go on all these 4-cylinder or 3-cylinder modern engines, I am in a constant press, you know, to overtake this car and that car and etc., and to catch this, you know, to be there on time. But Harley works nice to me, and I'm just, it would be nice to have it maybe one day and be okay. So few other details like suspension and cornering. This 18-inch wheel in front, together with the inverted fork, it works very well, and changing directions is very, very easy for this kind of bike. I'm very surprised. Okay, there is a Super Sport behind me. Just a moment. All right. So the changing direction is very easy, and this, you know, the combination of 18-inch front wheel together with inverted fork, it's very, very easy to maneuver, and even in the city, in the traffic jams, no problems. You need to have some strength. Its strength, you know, it has 318 kilograms, but it's okay. Overall, the suspension is great. It's very comfortable, but at the same time, it can support you in the corners, and you can set it up in the rear, which is great and handy. Clutch is one of the easiest to operate, like easier, one of the best clutches on the bikes. It's very, very easy to operate. The gearbox, it's still the old good Harleys. You hear the sound from the gearbox when you change the gear, especially from if you put the, you know, the first one, you know, the steel gear, changing the steel sound, but it's very exact. No any false neutrals or anything like that, so no problem. Brakes, when you go 100 and more with a pillion, you will feel that you could have more of the braking power, but in most of the situation in cruising, no problems at all. There are stronger Harleys which have dual disc in the front, but this one is good for the riding style, which you know, easygoing riding style. So yeah, so that's it, I think. Clutch, gearbox, my riding impressions. I like the analog speedo, and I feel okay. I feel relaxed, and that's the most important thing.